At the beginning of this episode, the assistant then says Shishi has consumed too much alcohol, so they both take her to the room. At that moment, Shishi starts feeling like vomiting. After a while, she feels better, and then crying, she says, I wanted to marry the person I love, but I ended up marrying the person I hate. Hearing this, Si-chan says, I have no feelings and I do not have time for all this. Later, Si-chan falls onto the bed with Shishi, and while sleeping, she hugs him in the next scene. Shishi wakes up and calls Si-chan. When he comes, he shows her the house. Shishi then asks, where did you sleep last night? Si-chan tells her I was in the study. She then asks, where will we sleep from now on? Si-chan says, no one should find out about our fake marriage, so we will have to share a room. Hearing this, Shishi gets worried. Si-chan reassures her, I do not have any feelings for you. Then he takes her to a room and says, you can sleep here. This is a connected room. I will only come here to change my clothes later. When Shishi enters the room, she says this room is so big. Then she sees Si-chan's photo and starts saying bad things about him. Just then, Si-chan enters wearing only a towel. Shishi closes her eyes in embarrassment, and Si-chan apologizes and leaves. After he leaves, she turns off the lights and lies down to sleep, but gets scared after seeing a shadow. She runs to Si-chan, who is doing push-ups, and says, why are you making so much noise? Because of you. I could not sleep. Si-chan replies, I have insomnia. Exercising helps me get at least 2 to 3 hours of sleep, although it does not always work. Shishi starts laughing and says, do you know why you cannot sleep? Because you think bad thoughts. Hearing this, Si-chan comes closer to her and she gets scared. Si-chan says, I will sleep in the study room. Shishi replies, if you sleep there, everyone will find out our secret. We can sleep in the same room but separately. Si-chan agrees, and Shishi quickly lies on the bed and says, I will sleep here. Si-chan replies, the bed is mine, and makes her lie on the sofa, which makes her very angry later when she sees him reading a book. She also picks up a book and starts reading loudly. Si-chan asks, why are you reading so loudly? Shishi replies, this is how I read because of her loud reading. Si-chan eventually falls asleep. Shishi notices this and says Si-chan was saying he cannot fall asleep easily. But look, he already fell asleep. She puts a blanket over him. The next morning, Si-chan wakes up, checks the time, and says, I actually slept well last night. Shishi, who is already awake, says you fell asleep so quickly last night, maybe because of my reading. Si-chan replies, fine, read to me again tonight. Then Si-chan leaves for the office and Shishi goes back to sleep later. Xiaoya comes and says our online store has been shut down. Shishi gets shocked. They decide to meet the director of Mang Group when they reach there. Mosing arrives and says I will help you meet the director. Then Mosing's assistant calls him Mr. Mo, which shocks Shishi and Xiaoya because they realize Mosing himself is the director. They explain their problem to Mosing, who tells his assistant to resolve it. He also offers them lunch, but Shishi refuses. Mosing gives Shishi a gift, and seeing it, Shishi becomes very happy. Shishi returns home and Si-chan's grandmother gives her a gift. Shishi becomes very happy after seeing it and says this must be very expensive. She thanks her. Then the grandmother says, I will be happy if you give me a grandson. Shishi ignores this. Then Si-chan calls Shishi into the study and tells her that at home she should call him darling, and in anger Shishi calls him darling. Then Si-chan asks if she went to Mang Group today. Shishi replies, I did not know you were secretly keeping an eye on me. Si-chan asks, why did you meet Mosing? Shishi says, I did not meet him secretly. I met him openly. Si-chan tells her, this is the last mistake I have forgiven. From now on, you will have to pay for every mistake. Si-chan asks, since when do you know Mosing? And what is your relationship with him? Shishi explains he was my senior in school, and now he is the director of Mang Group. I went there to get my online store unlocked, and I had lunch with him. Shishi then gives Si-chan the bag that grandmother gave her, and says this is a contract gift. Si-chan says, since grandmother gave it to you, you should keep it later. Shishi and grandmother are eating together, and grandmother asks, did you and Si-chan have a fight? I do not want to interfere in your privacy, but I saw you sleeping on the rocking chair. If something is wrong, I will take your side. Shishi explains, you misunderstood, grandmother. We were playing a game and the loser had to sleep on the rocking chair. Grandmother believes her and tells the servant to send soup to Si-chan at his company. Shishi says, I will take the soup to him myself at the office. Assistant. Feng informs Si-chan that Shishi has brought soup for you and said she will go home with you after your work is done. Si-chan comes out and sees Shishi has fallen asleep while sitting, and as she is about to fall, he holds her face and she wakes up startled. Si-chan says, do not come here without a reason. Shishi replies, I came for a reason. Grandmother saw me sleeping on the rocking chair, so I had to explain. And she understood. Si-chan asks, did grandmother make the soup? Shishi says yes. Si-chan tells her, you should have known that grandmother made that soup for the person who is trying to have a son. Shishi feels embarrassed and quickly leaves later. Shishi urgently needs money and goes to the mall with Xiaoya. They go to a purse shop where the shopkeeper praises Shishi's purse and offers money for it. At first, Shishi refuses, but after Xiaoya's purse is weighed, she agrees to sell it and says she wants to reclaim it after 3 months at home. Grandmother asks Shishi, why are you not using the purse? Shishi makes an excuse, and grandmother tells her, my birthday is next week, and I insist you use that purse on the occasion. Shishi gets worried about how she will get it back at grandmother's birthday party. Su-wei and Si-chan arrive. Si-chan brings a gift for grandmother. Everyone eagerly waits for Shishi's gift, which turns out to be vegetables. Si-chan remarks that Shishi's gift is the best. Grandmother also likes it very much. Then, Su-wei gives grandmother a purse and says, I saw a similar purse with Shishi and bought one for you. Grandmother becomes suspicious and asks Shishi to bring her purse. Shishi gets nervous, and in a flashback it is revealed that Su-wei saw Shishi selling the purse and later bought it herself for a high amount. Grandmother insists Shishi bring the purse, and as Shishi is about to explain, Sai-chan says the purse is in the room. We will bring it now. Then, Sai-chan asks Shishi what happened. She tells him everything. I sold the bag, and when I went to get it back, someone else had already bought it. She says, I will go out and tell grandmother the truth. But Si-chan stops her from telling the truth after that. Si-chan shows grandmother a fake purse so she does not find out the truth. Even Su-wei says nothing. Then everyone cuts grandmother's birthday cake. And Shishi thanks Si-chan for handling everything so well. In the next scene, Shishi comes to his room and tells Si-chan, grandmother asked me to make soup for you, so I brought it. Si-chan asks, do you want to say anything else? She refuses and starts to leave, but Si-chan comes closer and asks, are you sure you have nothing to say? She refuses again. Then he asks, where did you go today? Who did you meet? She gives him a full report of her day, explaining everything she did. Sai-chan then asks, did your mother call? What did she say? Shishi deliberately does not tell him about the landlord issue her mother faced, but shares everything else. This makes Si-chan angry, and he tells her to leave, but then asks her to give him some soup as she comes very close to feed him. He feels uncomfortable and says, I will drink it myself. Then she leaves in the next scene. When Sai-chan goes to his room, he sees Shishi has fallen asleep while reading a book, even though she said she would read to him. Si-chan stares at her closely, and she wakes up startled. Seeing him so close, she gets scared and hits him with the book. Next, Shishi puts a bandage on him because he got hurt. She apologizes, but he tells her, you will have to help me get ready for 2 months. Shishi reluctantly agrees because she has no choice in the next scene. Shishi gets a call from her ex-boyfriend who invites her to meet. Meanwhile, Su-wei invites Si-chan to the same restaurant, and it turns out it was Su-wei's plan, while Si-chan and Su-wei are discussing business. Shishi arrives to meet her ex. He apologizes and asks for a second chance. At that moment, Si-chan notices Shishi and hears their conversation. Someone is taking photos of Shishi and her ex-boyfriend, which is also part of Su-wei's plan. Si-chan gets furious and is about to leave, but stops when he hears Shishi call her ex shameless. Then she starts praising Si-chan, which makes him happy. Su-wei's plan fails, and she leaves in the next scene. Si-chan texts Shishi. Come home when she arrives, he tells her, I want to sleep, so you should read to me, as Shishi reads. Si-chan keeps staring at her and moves closer. You are my wife. Who were you meeting at a private restaurant? Shishi asks. Are you following me? He denies it. Then she asks, did you hear my conversation? Si-chan denies again and says, I have other work. Shishi believes him. Then she teases him. Are you getting jealous? Si-chan replies, why would I be jealous in the next scene? Grandmother scolds Shishi and Si-chan. Why are you sleeping in separate rooms? Even though you are newly married, but they ignore it. And that is where the episode ends. Subscribe to the channel and do not forget to press the bell icon to watch the next episode.